Foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Habakkuk. I would also like to give a double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who do well, that have taught me this truth. And I would also like to say a sincere shalom to the hopeful elect, unto the scattered elect, unto the brothers, the prophets, the men who are prophesying, laboring in this truth and in this doctrine. Unto you I say shalom. Excuse me. It is definitely getting worse. All right. It's going to get worse. All right. And it's going to get really worse for you Edomites, really. All right. You know, you could buy into the rhetoric, of America is this, it's that. You know, look at the stock market, everything is booming, but the people are the ones that's catching the hell. All right. You can believe Trump and all these bullshit statistics if you want, but the American dream is gone. It ain't never coming back. All right. And you got the article entitled "Middle Class Americans Are Selling Their Plasma to Make Ends Meet." All right. In the middle class America, the majority of them is Edomites. All right. You got a few Jake sprinkled in there, but Jake is usually, all right. The majority of them is a lower class. Okay. You know, lower middle class, but the majority of middle class is Edomites. And they catching hell right now. And they're going to continue to catch hell. Okay. You know, and a lot of it is, you know, the curses coming back upon them. All right. The curses that are on our people right now, but hey, they're going to begin to catch these curses. They're catching hell. Okay. It says inside a suburban Philadelphia strip mall between the cuttery and Citizens Bank, a dozen people lay on a black ergonomic bed a few feet apart, hooked up through a needle in the crook of their arms to machines pumping blood out of their veins. They were there to sell their plasma in exchange for $65 on a prepaid debit card. All right, Ian Pleasant, 43, had come that morning to get some extra money for toilet paper and pet food. She better get rid of that pet, you know. But if it's making your ass go down there give plasma for $65, that ain't worth it. Because at the end of the day, Esau knows what these devils know what they're doing with that plasma. Okay, it's not to your advantage, and it's damn sure worth more than $65. But people got to do what they got to do because they catching hell. All right, there's a lot of layoffs is going on. More layoffs. They said the month of January was the most layoffs. I want to say ever. Okay, and don't quote me on that, but it was a lot of layoffs. All right, it said the number increased damn near a few 100% than the previous year. All right, he says I'm making enough money now doing DoorDash to keep up with the bills, but for anything else in the house, this is going to help out. He said as he waited for an employee at the B Positive Plasma Center in Holmes, Pennsylvania, to insert a thick needle into his arm. All right, so these Edomites, man, they catching it. It says that it's a scene repeated by an estimate 200,000 people a day across the country as part of a multi-billion-dollar business fueled by a growing number of Americans willing to trade their blood for money in an economy where many have seen their job prospects weaken, costs rise, and savings dwindle. Jake ain't got no savings like that. Despite data that shows a relatively stable economy, that's bullshit. Middle class Americans say they have to start selling their plasma over the past year to cover basic expenses from medical bills to winter coats for their children. I'm angry that I'm working this much, that I'm educated, that I'm articulate, that I have marketable skills, and that I'm reduced to selling plasma. All that education that you got, that you went in debt for, is not doing nothing for you now. All right, and it's going to be those that are highly educated. That's going to be, they can't get jobs because the job will say they're overqualified. Okay, so this is an ongoing thing, and it's only going to get worse. It gets worse. Look at this Edomite. What she got to say? She might be a Jake. It says Jill Chamberlain says she works up to 80 hours a week, but still isn't able to cover her bills without money from plasma. Damn, 80 hours a week. So that's 160 in 2 weeks. That's crazy. That's like double shifts every day. Let me see what she says. I'm angry that I'm working Jill Chamberlain in Phoenix, who has gone from making $87,000 a year to $16.11 an hour after being laid off from her job overseeing the finance at a local business in 2024. I was ashamed at first, but now I'm angry. This is not how things are supposed to be. Why they ain't supposed to be like that? Because you're Edomite? Because you white? Because the Edomites feel like we're not supposed to be like this. The niggas is supposed to struggle. The Mexicans are supposed to struggle and work multiple jobs and like nah, y'all feeling it, okay? It's only going to get worse, okay? A lot of these Edomites say, oh, I'm not supposed to do this. You know, I got an education, I got a degree. Hey, that's that. And a lot of times you got a lot of these white collar workers that look down on blue collar. You're gonna be trying to. They wish they could work a blue collar job, okay? But a lot of those jobs eventually going to be taken. They're going to be the last ones to go, okay? But the robots is there to take them jobs also, okay? But you working with computers or you doing some type of man, your job is your job is the forecast for your job is not looking good. It says Margot Thompson and her husband make $120,000 a year in a rural corner in Idaho, but the couple started selling their plasma about a year ago to cover their car payment and one-time expenses like new tires and medical bills. In Oklahoma City, Larry Jones, 64, started selling his plasma in April after his rent increased to $800 a month, taking a significant chunk out of his $1,800 a month intake home pay he gets as a school bus monitor for children with disabilities. So it's got multiple stories in here. I'm not gonna read it all, but this is all over the country. You got Jake in there. You know this nigga look like he don't even need to be given no blood, but they do it, okay? And we know what Esau's doing with their blood. It ain't going, it ain't going to people that need it for blood transfusion. It's going to the the small hats. All right, it's going to their it's going in their smoothies. All right. So let me start with some scriptures. I ain't gonna make this too long. This is Deuteronomy 30 and verse 7. It says, "And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee." So, hey, the Lord is, he's doing the work right now. All right, everyone's beginning to suffer. Of course, we know Israelites, Jake, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. We're gonna suffer the worst. Because we at the bottom. We don't got no savings. We don't got resources like a lot of the Edomites. But at the same time, we know how to cope with struggling. Okay, we know how to make moves and make shit happen, move money around, and I work a job over here, to try to keep our shit going. Jake, even though Jake be in there giving plasma, that'd be that's probably last on the list. Jake will thug it out. All right. Jake don't care about, missing a payment or two, long as they get enough to get the lights back on. All right. But like I said, this is coming back on Edomites. These Edomites, they're the ones catching the hell right now. They're struggling. All right. This is Psalms chapter 7 and verse 15. He made a pit and digged it, and it's fallen into the ditch which he made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealings shall come down upon his own pate. All right, his mischief. Okay, and a lot of these Edomites here in Babylon, America, they're pissed right now because they're beginning to see the light that they're sending all this money over to Israel. They're sending money to Ukraine, and while they're over here, with their education and with their their student loans and they all this education, they're suffering. Okay. But Esau digged that ditch, and they're falling into it. They're gonna fall into that same ditch that they built. That ditch they made a pit for us to be in. All right, they dig that pit for us, but they're falling in the same damn ditch. Okay. Psalms 35 and verse 8. It says, "Let destruction come upon him at unawares, and let his net that he had hid catch himself into that very destruction. Let him fall." All right, they made a net. They made a cast of the net out there for us to fall, and they're gonna fall right into their damn self. All right, these Edomites. All right, they these proud ass MFs, man. Lamentations 1 and 21. It says, "They have heard that I sighed. There is none to comfort me. All my enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. That thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. So when Jake, we still catching hell, but when Jake was catching hell, going through shit, catching, you can't get a job, and you first, we always say the last hired, first fired, you know, hey, all these nations, they just stood back and looked like, oh boy, glad it ain't us. But now, hey, we doing the same thing. We looking at them like, damn, I ain't selling no plasma. I'm not doing that. Hell, if I got to move in with a family member, hell, at least I could bring something to the table. These Edomites, they still trying to work it out. They still got this American dream, all right, embedded in their head, thinking that oh, it's gonna work out, or Trump's gonna make it better, or I just gotta get to the, like, nah, for our people that's in this truth, that understand, we don't want to make it here. Okay, we understand. The time's gonna come where, hey, shit's gonna get worse. All right, but that's where your faith in Yahawashi kicks in. All right, you should already have your faith in Yahawashi, but when shit gets bad like that, it's like, hey, the Lord, He's gonna provide for us. He's gonna provide us our daily bread. He's gonna provide us the things that we need to get by. Okay, verse 22. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me, for all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. Okay, and because of these things that's happening, it's going to eventually be, people are going to lash out. All right, it's not going to, people are not just going to, oh, I'm going to give blood. People are going to get pissed. People are going to, become violent, become very irate. Matthew 24:12, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. The love of many is going to wax cold. All right, where people are just going to lose it because they ain't got shit to lose. All right, Apostle Ramlab says that. All right, hey, people are gonna lose it. They're not gonna give a F. It's like, man, I'm tired of giving my blood. All right, hell with this. I'm gonna go do this, or I'm gonna go rob a store, or I'm gonna go, whatever. All right, they just gonna just act on impulse and act on emotions. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 6:24. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, so you're gonna have friends fighting against each other. All right, for money, for research, whatever. All right, you got a lot of things happening like that where people are just ticked off, and they just lash out for the smallest shit. All right, like the nigga killed his friend over, I think it was a French fry from Wingstop or something, and nigga didn't give him no fry, and he shot him or killed him. But you got to think, it was more than just a French fry. That tension had been built up amongst them. Okay, amongst the at least the one that killed him, and that not giving the nigga the fry. All right, just put him over the top. So it's going to be a lot of Jakes out there that's like that. It's going to be a lot of Edomites out there that's like that, where a nigga just gave plasma, and he come outside and he got his $65 gift card or a debit card, and he got a ticket that's $55. You gonna be thinking, God damn, So at the end of the day, you ain't making nothing but $10. Okay, but hey, it's going to get worse. Okay, where you're gonna have women out there, selling that thing. All right, that you never thought that, but hey, you're gonna have a lot of women trying to get on OnlyFans. It's all right, so that's what it's coming to. All right, in America, Babylon the Great is waxing, it's getting worse and worse and worse. All right, and we're seeing this place fall. We're seeing this place crumble right before our eyes, and it's beautiful because we know it's the Yahawashi that's doing this. All right, so Lord, within this lesson was edifying unto the hopeful elect, and I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakak, Shalom.